Hi. Do you hate what you do for a living?
Because right now we do. Actually,
Um,
no, we don't. We don't. He likes what he does. I like what I do. I think the question sort of is, how do you find what you love to do, and then how do you make it into a thing that allows you to live in the world with money? Because people like money. I don't know. Is that what we were going to talk about? We're all thrown off now.
sure.
We're all thrown
We can
off.
talk about that.
Okay.
We can make this one of those long videos where we just kind of wander around aimlessly
I
until we make
think we
points.
should do that.
And then we can hire some snazzy editor.
I'm not hiring a snazzy editor.
Neither am I.
So this is not going to happen. We've agreed.
So we're just going to talk for
So we're just going to talk.
until
Okay.
something interesting comes
Okay.
out.
Well,
Can I talk about Starbucks?
No, you already complained about Starbucks.
But I'd
a
like
lot.
to complain about it.
No, don't complain about. Why do you want to complain about Starbucks? Let's talk about something good.
Because it'll get all these frustrations off my chest so that the goodness can flow.
You know, I
through.
have a thing. I have a thing to say about that, which that is actually a very good point. Because
Please.
I feel like everybody has been having this has just been a weird week. Like the past couple of weeks have just been really weird for everybody I've talked to. And I know for myself, like what you were just saying about like all of the bad things kind of piling up. Not necessarily bad things, even but like bad feelings about even just stupid things like Starbucks. And then what happens is you get all clogged up and you can't really show up in the world in the way that you'd like to because you're just sort of stuffed with all these feelings of anger and rage. And one of my therapists once told me to, and I still do this, to make a list of 10 things I'm mad at every day. And I've noticed that when I don't make the list, I start having feelings of rage. Maybe this is just my problem, a little bit of an anger issue.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really helpful to kind of look at the emotions that you're having and process through them somehow. However you do that, whether it's with a list or going for a run or complaining about Starbucks, which I think Ben would now like to do. So you have the floor. Why do you want to complain, and what will that do for you? Then you can complain.
Well, I think this is a better topic.
Okay,
than
good.
The other one.
Good.
Well,
here we go.
I suppose it's almost like coughing up phlegm when I complain.
Yep.
And
because it's like clogging you up.
Because
I
walked
really
into this.
Right.
There's this new Starbucks down the street that seems nice. I mean, they always kind of seem nice. And then I go in there, and it's only been open for 4 weeks, and every table is filled with one couple. This woman's got like a stroller that's taking up like half the table, like half. There's like
How
a
dare they?
no, but like it's like no, there was no child in it. It was just a stupid stroller.
There wasn't a kid in it?
There was no kid in it.
It was just okay.
It was just random stroller.
Were there like a bunch of tin cans in it?
I don't know. The other day I was
there
at
a
a
cat
cafe.
in
No,
it?
listen, and this woman comes in with a stroller with a dog in the stroller.
Because the dog needs fresh air, but the dog doesn't want to move its legs.
It's just like the dog was fine. It was popping around in the stroller, like, oh, this is sort of weird. What am I doing in this contraption? And anyway, so and then there's the guy the sort of perennial guy like sitting at a table with his headphones with like one tea that he spent like $1 on, and he's got his internet and his headphones and his books and his notebooks, and it's like his office is right there. Now, who hasn't done this? But it's like the whole place is completely filled with humans. And
we all know that he doesn't like humans.
I like humans, just in smaller amounts.
Yes, smaller.
No, I like humans.
Tiny humans.
So I'm
complaining
because it's like it gets all the gunk out of my system.
Yeah. Actually, I'm a big believer in complaining. People talk about it like it's not really, like, oh, it's negative, and it is to an extent. But I do feel like there's a lot of value in the rant, honestly, because it can really unload a lot of emotion for you, and it can kind of point you in the direction that you need to go. Because okay, say you're complaining a lot about Starbucks.
Right.
I'm sure that's pointing you in some direction. I don't know what it is for you.
Yes.
Do you know? What direction is it pointing you in?
It's pointing me in the direction that it's, the culture is always fighting to correct itself. And I feel like some of the great comedians, they come out and they point out all this ridiculousness, and what they're doing is everyone gets to laugh about it, so that the culture kind of, it's coughing up its own shit, so to speak.
It's coughing up its own phlegm.
Yeah. And so I think it's good. I think it's good to complain as long as you do it.
Comedians are the ipecac of culture.
The who?
Ipecac.
Oh my goodness. What does that mean?
Okay, so it's sort of an old school remedy for phlegm. or for it.
I've
Maybe
heard
it
it
makes you throw up. I'm not. I'm
No,
honestly
you're
not
right.
sure.
Epicac.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like there's
like
a
Anne
word.
of Green Gables.
There's a word that I used yesterday that I had forgotten about.
Yeah.
Criminy. You ever heard that word? Criminy. It's like, oh my god, criminy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the ancient swear word, like piffle.
Yeah.
Like your great aunt Violet uses it, and nobody else does.
That's exactly correct, Amber.
It. Yes.
My great aunt Violet was, yes, she had a litany of words that she'd use. And you know what's really weird?
I don't know.
Speaking of words, I was listening to Fresh Air yesterday, and Terry Gross comes on, and she's talking to this neuroscientist, and the neuroscientist used the word labile to describe memories. And Terry Gross says, and I'm not kidding, she says, I've never heard the word labile before. What does it mean? And
I've never heard the word labile. What does it mean?
It means like changeable, like movable, like it's moldable.
It's actually hard to stump with vocabulary. Like I can't do math to save my life, but usually I don't run into words I don't know, but I don't know that one.
Okay, I stand corrected.
But what I do know is that I am wearing a giraffe on my t-shirt right now, and the giraffe has sneakers. I just think everybody needs to know. I think we all need to appreciate that. Let's just take a moment.
Do you know what?
What?
You're way cuter than me.
Yes.
Like
sorry. Was that a real?
On every level, I'm not. I could never talk about a giraffe and say I'm cute.
Well, I'm also female. Females can get away with shit like that.
Can men get away with shit that females can't get away with? As far as
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess we can.
That is a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother thing, right?
That's a different video.
That's a different video.
That's a different video.
So anyway, ranting. I'm feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I think.
So do you need to just rant? Like, do you want to give us a demonstration of what a good rant looks like? If not, I can probably do it.
No. Well, I mean, I think the key here is to approach things with consciousness. So it's okay if you do something like if you're gonna insult somebody, like say I'm coming after you, and just do it. Just let them have it. You ever do that? Oh, it's fantastic. It's like sport. It is. It's like you have a mental slingshot and you're just nailing people.
Wow. Okay, so
does that mean
from your therapist's perspective, like if somebody told you that in a therapy session, what would you say to them? What would you respond?
Well, it depends. Like, okay, that's an excellent question. So let's say so you're saying if I have a client who comes to me and says I can't stop insulting people, doctor, what do I'm not a doctor, but what do I do? Mm-hmm. I mean, it depends on why the person's insulting the person.
Yeah. So why are you insulting them?
I haven't insulted anybody actually in a long time.
So did you just lie to us?
I used to insult lots of people. Sure. It was mostly because I was angry with myself.
Yes. That makes sense.
And it was unconscious. Mm-hmm. And it was a problem.
Yeah.
So occasionally I will tease a person. Mm-hmm. That might be the same thing as insulting them. I'm not really sure, but it's something. Well,
also the people will read the energy behind your words. Like you can say something that is actually really kind, but if you're feeling kind of like, if you're maybe not lying, but you're maybe saying something that you don't entirely believe because you think it sounds better, or if you're saying something that sounds somewhat insulting, but you're coming from a really good place, people do read the energy behind your words, and they do know where you're coming from, even if that's unconscious on their part and on your part.
My therapist, who's the grand poopah of all psychology, says that it's basically 90%, 10% content and 90% style.
Yeah, I used to really wonder about that because I was smart enough to like say the right things, but I was coming at it from a very bad place just because I was in a bad place. Like I don't think that people are necessarily trying to be unkind or, they're just in a bad place themselves. And I was, but I had sort of learned how to make the words sound the way I wanted them to sound, but they never had the effect that I wanted because I was not coming from a good place when I was saying them.
Absolutely. So that leads me to another thing. Do you ever love to hate?
Do I ever love to hate? Yes, it's fun.
It is. I love to hate possums.
Possums, yes. I mean, possums are terrible.
They're ugly.
They're ugly. They're very cute when they're babies.
Yeah, like the one you left on your Facebook.
Yes.
It was very cute. But they're awful looking creatures.
Oh yeah, they're like enormous rats.
Ooh.
I actually just wrote a story about a possum who had some severe issues because she was adored as a cute little possum baby, and then she grew into this big ugly possum, and everybody hated her.
That's my question for
you, this guy.
Internet.
You hate possums.
Yes. What do you love to hate?
Oh, that's a good question. What do I love to hate? I love to hate ants because there are ants everywhere in my apartment because I live in a little cottage in the woods, and when it rains, the ants just like invade.
See, I don't mind ants.
Oh.
They're
Come
not,
live in my house for a week.
They're not dirty. They just mill about. They don't do
when
anything.
You're like stepping on entire hordes of them trying to get to your shower.
What composes it? What's a horde? How much is a horde? Like 20 ants?
60.
Oh, 60 ants.
Oh no, I'm gonna make you live here. I'm gonna go live somewhere else,
ants.
and he's gonna live here for a while after a big rain, and we'll see what he says about ants then. We'll see.
I have never had a beef with ants. Spiders is in the story.
Okay, you wouldn't want to live here then, because there's spiders everywhere.
Like, I will not tolerate.
I'm fine with spiders.
I will not tolerate a single spider.
What just happened?
I don't know.
Things just disappeared. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. That was strange. I wonder how that will show up on the
curious
Great
myself.
White Internet. Probably will.
Should we wrap this up? What are we doing?
I don't know what we're
still
doing.
Still talking about a thing? Or
I think we
are
should
we
stop.
Just rambling? Okay, we're going to stop now. And we have agreed to stop, and that is a good thing. Bye!